We are previewing Week 15 in the NFL here at SBRForum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We're talking right now with one of my favorite returning guests, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Joe, thanks for being here with us once again.
Peter, let's pick some winners and even more winners.
Yes, absolutely. But before we do that, take about 20 seconds to promote yourself. You know, we just covered a bunch of bowl games, and I said take about 10 seconds because there's so many bowl games. And now we're in an NFL game, a big NFL game. Take about 20 seconds now to tell us what's so great about Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com.
Well, I am CEO of OffshoreInsiders.com, and going back to the scorephone days, I was called the NFL specialist, widely considered by many to be the top NFL handicapper way back going to the 1980s. I think I've earned that reputation, still got that going. And like I said, I go back to the scorephone days, the old 900 number, JD, the ACC. Even still to this day, every now and then, people are saying, oh, yeah, I remember you from the scorephones. I wonder where you've been. I finally found you. So who knows, through the great audience here at SBRForum, maybe some people that were with me 10 years ago and hadn't found me, here I am at OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, great. And as I mentioned in one of our other videos, you know, if you want to tail your picks or not, that's fine. But I think that your analysis and your opinions and your reasoning are very valuable no matter what. That's a great reason just to watch your videos on its own. All right, we're going to talk about the Packers at Bears. The Packers are a 3-point road favorite. The total's 43. And I'm thinking, you know, the Bears are so banged up. They're having so many issues. I sort of knew they were going to be a bad bet on last week against Minnesota. The Packers, you know, they're playing well, but they still haven't clinched the playoffs. They're only a 3-point favorite. Unless there's something I'm not seeing, I'm thinking the Packers -3 is a great bet.
Well, both of these teams are actually banged up. Green Bay has more than their share of injuries on defense. Now, we're going to use one of our favorite terms, and we did have Minnesota last week, but Chicago is one of those, quote-unquote, as we like to say, predictably unpredictable teams. And Jay Cutler is a guy from day one. I always said that his production will not match his talent. He's very talented, but what happens with predictably unpredictable teams once they start playing poorly and they're underdogs and they're big underdogs, which quite frankly, a 3-point home underdog is a pretty big underdog. That is the time that they respond. Why is Jay Cutler still a starting quarterback in the NFL? Why is he paid $1 gazillion? Because as soon as it looks like he's ready to go to the bench, he responds with a fantastic game. And as I said, Green Bay has more than their share of injuries as well. Also, another one of our rules is uncertainty. A lot of square players say, I want to avoid this. There's too much uncertainty in the game. The odds makers don't like uncertainty either. And when you're talking about a game where there's so much uncertainty, it's always going to be a high percentage play to go with the underdog, especially a pretty big home underdog, which once you get at that key number of 3, it is. Aaron Rodgers has thrown only 2 touchdown passes in the past 3 games. One of the reasons is, Green Bay, they still are fighting for playoff position. There's no question about it. But they seem to be pacing themselves for the playoffs. They're running the ball a little bit more. They've used, I think it was like 5 running backs the last 3 weeks. They seem to be kind of tuning up for the postseason. Chicago has a long history under Jay Cutler of responding in exact situations like this when the chips are down. So yes, I am going to bet on the predictably unpredictable team to all of a sudden predictably play one of their best games of the year.
Wow, that's a very bold call, Joe Duffy. So you're not concerned that the Bears are just a little bit too banged up to be competitive here?
No, I'm definitely concerned about that. But before I finalize my picks, and I've said this on some past videos, the last thing I do is check the NFL injury report, not the official NFL injury report. I especially like to check the different blogs like RotoWire as far as the fantasy stuff, and also the blog at ESPN is excellent. Be checking on the status of Charles Woodson and Clay Matthews are among the injuries that Green Bay has as well. So both of these teams are hurt, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, I'm definitely where Brian Urlacher, the Bears are a much better team with him. They will not have him here, but when you see that they're a 3-point home underdog, that's taken into consideration. Yes, I'm worried about the injuries on Chicago's side of the ball. I also do like the fact that it looks like Green Bay is going to have plenty of injuries as well. But the ultimate thing is, like I said, Chicago, I've just seen them so many times. Teams like Chicago, I've compared Cutler to Jeff George, another guy who, when the chips were down, would respond. I think Matt Stafford is another guy who's just like Jay Cutler. These are the type of quarterbacks I like to go with in situations like this is a Jay Cutler situation. But you're right, Chicago's plenty of injuries, so does Green Bay.
All right, well, I'll be very interested to see how this turns out. And if the Bears get an outright win, I'll be extremely impressed. Joe Duffy, thanks.